Good afternoon, Kristen Collins here on Wellbeing Wednesday. It's wonderful to reconnect with you guys as always. And as shared last week, this will be my last Wellbeing Wednesday on behalf of Lee Health. So I want to just start today's by thanking you guys so much for this opportunity to come together and create this environment where we can riff on what is truly and authentically well-being. It's been an incredible ride for me, especially during such an interesting time in history. And as shared last week, I will be continuing these, but on my own personal accord as I wrap up my journey with Lee Health. So I do hope that we continue to walk together, and you can find next week's Wellbeing Wednesday on my Facebook page, which is at Living It on Purpose, or you can connect with me on my website, which is my name, KristenCollins.com. So again, thank you for the opportunity to come to conclusion today. And we are going to wrap up our journey with the seventh key of unlocking our emotional and mental well-being. And so far, we've spent the past 5 weeks going through the 6 keys. And as a friendly reminder, those are to take a deep breath, to reduce your distractions, to feel your emotions and not stuff them or deflect them. That's one I'm always working on. To know your purpose and know why you're here. What is your life's purpose? To cast your vision and go for it, unattached to outcome and not being distracted by all the hurdles which will be thrown your way. Last week, we talked about releasing judgment of others, and that's key and essential, right? And also when receiving judgment, to know that that's projection. And that was a really fun week to talk about how we all have a different lens to look through, and that's okay. That's what life's about. And then we're going to conclude today by talking about raising our vibration, raising our positivity, and raising our energy. So I want you to think about either a person or a time in your own life when your energy was just so depleted. That's a real thing that happens, right? And it's like sometimes that person enters the room and there's just so much negativity going on and just it's like this big suck of air out of the room. Sometimes I'm that person and I hate when I'm that person, but that happens to all of us. So what are some ways that we can feel those emotions, let that roll through our body, or not judge the other person and let them affect us? But how can we go ahead and raise our own elevation and vibration so that we're not the person walking in the room taking the air out of it? So we had talked a few weeks ago about gratitude and expressing 3 things that you're grateful for 21 days. So we should have already completed that 21-day cycle by now. But if you haven't or you missed that video, then why don't you contemplate thinking about 3 things that you're really, really grateful for each and every day for 21 days, because it takes 21 days to create a habit. And you're going to go ahead and reset your mind to attract gratitude and joy and thanks. And remember that not everything is horrible right now. So the first key to raising your vibration is to express gratitude, either just in passing. I express gratitude all the time in my own mind, and then I try to do that with other people as well to really let them know I see you, I feel you, I appreciate you, just to, again, raise my own vibration. The second tool that I use to raise my vibration is to journal or to just download and document. And even if that starts with a negative, like I'm super mad at somebody or something's not going my way or whatever, I do make sure when I'm journaling that I reflect on what is my purpose? What vision am I casting? What can I go ahead and download that I am grateful for? So there is a little bit of a difference between speaking it or typing it or just thinking it, but really that act of writing in a journal is something that's incredibly efficient and helpful when it comes to raising your vibration. So you might want to give that a try. The third key is to connect with nature. And I know a couple weeks ago I shared about my camping in our car or Tesla at a state park. We're actually going to head out and do that again in the upcoming next few days, which I'm really excited about. It's now become a thing for us because the joy and simplicity of connecting with nature and just sitting among the trees and hearing the birds chirp and not being distracted by the television and all the other things that are distractions at home. So If you want to raise your vibration, how are you connecting with nature? And it might not be going to a state park and camping in your Tesla. It might be, how do I look outside, or how do I take a walk, 2-minute walk outside? Can I just step outside and breathe fresh air? That's just essential to raising our energy and our vibration. The other piece too is to move, and we all know this. It's the hardest thing is just showing up to move, right? I was talking to some friends last night about that, how the hardest part of a workout is just showing up. And then the way that I can get to that, and sometimes that happens for me when I go to get on the Peloton or I go to do some yoga, it's like I just have to go show up, and then all of a sudden I start getting in flow with that, and that raises my energy. So you can give that a try. 2 more tips for raising your vibration, which is our 7th key to unlocking your mental well-being, is to be creative. And the way I've really gotten into my creativity during this pandemic is to think about, what did I used to do before I became just this, all-consumed adult that have all this responsibility, right? And I bought myself a $4.99 adult coloring book, and I found some markers that I've had in this house for a decade. And at night, I love the simplicity, yet it's like that tedious focal of coloring. And I come up with all these beautiful designs in my adult coloring book that just really bring my heart joy. I love to puzzle. I usually have a big puzzle in my living room table that I love to put together. So what is it that you do to be creative? Dance, swim, laugh, sing, whatever it is. So get back in touch with your inner creativity, which aligns with our final key for today. And that's, can you just have a moment of good old-fashioned fun? And I really have started to appreciate my moments of fun during this pandemic. I was able to connect with some folks over the weekend, and I haven't had that much simple laughter and fun connecting with friends. I don't even know since when. And it made me realize that like everything became just a big lift, almost like work. And I'd really gotten away from just joy and fun. So what are you doing to have fun? And are you time blocking for it? Are you making it a priority? Because that'll help raise your vibration. So I want to close our final Wellbeing Wednesday under the Lee Health umbrella with another quote from Ryan Holiday, and stillness is the key. And I wasn't going to go there. I had another quote picked out that was like really soul satiating about owning your authentic power and all the things I like to talk about. But this one crossed today, and I thought it was a really fitting summation for our journey together, overarching, but also with our own mental well-being. So I'd like to close today with the quote from the Daily Stoic, which is Ryan's daily email that I receive, and share it with you. From 165 to 180 AD, Rome was hit by a plague that would kill literally millions of people. It was horrible and terrifying. No one knew what caused this awful disease or what had brought it on. How could they stop the contamination, which could kill a person in 2 miserable weeks? Romans believed that the burning of incense might protect a family from falling ill. Marcus Aurelius, who bravely refused to flee Rome as other leaders had, would wake up each morning to a surreal smelling city, a mixture of putrid smell of decay and the sweet aroma of incense. For over a decade, the scent of incense was a reminder that survival from one day to the next should never be taken for granted. Until very recently, most of us in the first world had no sense of what that horrible smell might be like. Almost no one alive remembers the Spanish flu, which killed something like 50 million people between 1918 and 1920. The AIDS epidemic, which was a horrible, terrifying medical crisis, has receded into the distance. Ebola and SARS and swine flu and Zika were, mercifully, less awful than predicted. Then suddenly, COVID-19 changed everything. We were reminded immediately and unceremoniously that life should never be taken for granted. Life is short. Nature is brutal, which is why we have to live now. seize today as it is all we truly have. Thank you so much for connecting over this few-month period to talk about our well-being on Wednesdays. I truly appreciate the growth I've experienced from having these conversations and dialogues, and I look forward to continuing them outside of Lee Health as well. So thank you, and as always, take care of you. Bye.